Hey everybody, it's Whiskey here, and another video course, Path of Titans on Arazoa, and today I just wanted to talk about a lot of changes that have been taking place in the game, Path of Titans in general, and also on Arazoa, and also just in the player base and even in my friends group as of late. A lot of things are changing, so I've had a lot of mixed emotions about the game, some good, some bad, some indifferent, but I wanted to see kind of what everybody else is thinking too. Oh, look, here's a snake. I'm kind of doing something a little different right now. I'm doing a live recording. Normally I do the replays and I record my voice over the replays, and I'll probably throw some replays in this as well. But for this one, I just wanted to kind of talk about a little bit of things, some of the things that are on my mind, and see if I could get some feedback from the community as well. Leave your comments in the comments below, your questions if you have any. But look at these snakes. We were looking for this snake yesterday with my friend Griffin, and I was trying to I run across one, and she hadn't seen one, and this is where I saw it the last time. But they're pretty cool. They're snakes and lizards, and that's one of the changes. I guess I'll start with that. Is the AI critters was one of the recent changes that they had. And I think if this snake probably won't bite me because I'm a big T-Rex, but I was on a baby Cerrado and it bit me and it poisoned me. So they have poisonous snakes now in the game. And there's also another critter over here. It's the lizard one with the red face. Those do bleed actually. Those will bleed you. And when you're on a baby, they actually bleed pretty good. But here it is right here. If you're on a big dinosaur, they run away. But if you're on a baby, they'll come at you and attack you. And those ones do decent bleed to a baby. But yeah, anyway, so the AI critters are cool. I like the addition to it. I think they're a little loud, but you can probably hear that one right there. Oh, so I think there might be something to eat over here. Maybe we'll get some action on this video as well. Oh yeah, look, an Iggy. Did he see me, I wonder? Oh, he's getting attacked by an AI critter himself. So these things are pretty noisy, these little AI critters. And what happens is, like, those Iggies might just think that the noises they're hearing is a critter. That's really neat. So normally I wouldn't pop a red herring that far away, but I know the Iggies are slower now, and it had the baby there too, so I figured it would probably try to stop to protect the baby. And I always go after the adults. I don't like to just kill a baby in 2 chomps. I like a challenge, and plus I hadn't fought an Iggy yet. You know, occasionally I'll ambush. If it was just a baby by itself, I probably would have ambushed it, but if there's an adult there, why not fight the adult, you know? And these Iggies, you can see they have this new block ability that's pretty good. It mitigates damage, and you can see how much damage the new claw barrage that it has does. I mean, it's crazy. This Iggy probably would have beat me if it just actually fought instead of trying to block so much. I don't know how much damage that's mitigating, but obviously I'm damaging it, and I think if it would have punched me more, I might have been dead. I mean, you can see how low my health is here. But the Iggy's just totally different now. I like it. It's a big change. It's like a totally different dinosaur. So I had kind of mixed feelings about it, but I think once people realize how it plays, it can be a real monster now. It's like I think it's going to be a good change in the long run overall. And I'll do a video on the Iggy later. But this was a good fight, and it was definitely challenging as a subadult Rex to fight this Iggy. Well, look at that. Subadult Rex against an Iggy. And the Iggy almost killed me. So that was one of the updates they did, was the Iggy TLC. Mixed emotions about it at first. I think I'm going to like it. I like all the new abilities. They're really tough. So I'm looking forward to playing on the Iggy, and I'll bring some gameplay for you guys as well of that. Iggy's one of my favorites, probably my favorite Herbie to play. But the other changes was like I was mentioning right before I noticed that Iggy was the critters. They're cool. I like the addition of them, but I think they're a little too loud. If you're walking around through the forest, you hear critters and stuff, and it sounds like something the size of an owl running around, and they're really just a tiny little critter. It doesn't. I don't think the sound matches the size of the critters. But it's a cool change. I like what they're doing. The other thing Path of Titans did, Alderaan did, was they took away the balance tail and the balance claws from some of the animals, like the Metri and the Alio. And they changed the diets around. Now you've got to use scavenger to eat AI carcasses, and I think the hunger drain overall on all the dinosaurs is a lot faster. And I think that's because of the critters that are all around, and they did put more carcasses and more berry bushes all around. So it's going to be, people are going to be hungry more and hunting more, but then there's also more food sources around. So it's probably just a change people need to adjust to. A big change that was made by Arazoa staff recently, Tassie made an announcement that Deep Rumble, waiting out Deep Rumble now is considered dragging out a fight. So she specifically said waiting 40 seconds is too long in a territory contest. However, later on, she clarified in the Chattery, if you're part of the Arazoa server, you'll see there's a channel called the Chattery where people talk about stuff, and somebody was asking about repositioning and angling and stuff, and Tassie did confirm that repositioning and angling is okay. So if you're talking 10, 20 seconds of repositioning in a territory contest, that's okay, but running for 40 seconds is not. And so, you know what, I think that's fair. I actually put a ticket in, a general questions ticket a while ago with like 4 clips showing some different Rex territory contests, because it was a common thing going around where somebody would pop Deep Rumble and I would just wait it out. I never waited it out for 40 seconds. I usually would go about 20 seconds or so before I pop my own Deep Rumble and then go in. And that's just repositioning it. And I would always circle and mock bite and make sure I was, showing that I wasn't running away. But a lot of players were literally like just turning and running away and then waiting for like a minute or something like that. And that was silly. And I did put that in one of my videos. You'll see there's a Rex here on Savannah that does that, and it actually ran away for like 4 or 5 minutes. And that's definitely, dragging out a Terry. So just be careful with the Terry. You can still strategically, pop Deep Rumble. You can reposition and re-angle. And as long as you're not, avoiding contact for more than about 20 seconds, I think you'll be okay, as long as you're showing that you're obviously engaging and you're not just turning tail and running. But, in any kind of a game, this is realism server, but it's also a game. And in every game out there, PvP game, it's just like even board games like chess or checkers or whatever, you're trying to think 3, 4, 5 moves ahead of your opponent. And so if you have a plan, to have a plan and a strategy to deal with another opponent, like waiting out Deep Rumble, I think it's totally fair for you to use it, because both players have an exact equal opportunity to do the same thing. There's no unfair advantage there. You're just thinking ahead of it, and you're outsmarting the player. That's part of a PvP game, and I don't think they should take that away. I mean, kind of what they're doing by saying you can't wait out Deep Rumble is, imagine there's some shooter games out there where you have like really strong machine guns, but then there's another player type that has a shield with a weak like pistol, and the player with the shield and the weak pistol has a weak gun, but it has a really strong knife, so it can like one-shot somebody with a knife. So what they do with the shield is they put their shield up, they wait for the player to unload their clip on them, and then they just take their shield down and knife the player when it doesn't have any ammo. So kind of like what they're doing with this Deep Rumble thing is, it would be similar to a shooter game telling you that you have to waste your clip on somebody's shield before you can fight them. And it's like, wait, what? Doesn't that defeat the whole purpose of the situation? If you're on Allos, for example, and the guy has Deep Rumble, we're not going to do any damage to the Rex when it has Deep Rumble, but we're forced to attack it we can't wait to deep rumble out. So I just think that I think it's a bad decision, but it is what it is, and we have to deal with it. They make the rules, and we have to play by them. So just be smart about it, and you can still strategically deal with deep rumble if you're smart about it. I guess people that were abusing it by turning tail and running kind of ruined it for everybody, but it is what it is. Same thing goes with sharpened horns and any other kind of an ability like that. You just have to be careful in a territory contest. So that was a major change last week that kind of affected gameplay. Another big deal right now is the Torvos and the Saurophagonax. The Saurophagonax are they made the old aloe, the Saurophagonax on Arazoa, if you don't know, and you can run around with a pair of them, but they're tankier and they do more damage now, and they are hard to deal with. If you come across a couple that knows what they're doing, right now they're tough. So be careful with those. And then the Torvos is the other thing that they added here. And those Torvos have such good turn radius. They do a lot of damage. They have good turn radius, and they're fast. So 2 good Torvos is going to shred a Rex in the open area, in the plains or in the fields. It's even worse than Gigas. So they can do the same thing to Giga too. So Torvos are kind of a problem child right now. I know that the stat team does have plans to try to balance some of the stuff out. I have no idea what they're going to do, but I know they know that they understand that it needs some type of balancing. So until then, be really careful. Most players, luckily right now, are still experimenting with the Torvo and kind of figuring it out. But there's a handful of players out there that are really, really good. And they will tail ride you on your Rex, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I really hope, and I've always said this, but they need to give the Rex our turn radius back, because right now it's just, in some cases, you cannot defend yourself. You just can't turn around to do anything to get somebody off your back if they know how to tail ride you. And if you are in the forest and you're just ambushing on a Rex, you'll probably be okay. And I know that's some part of the intention is to have Rexes stay in the forest, but I really think that even then it can be a problem, because if a Torvo knows what it's doing, it can maneuver all around all the trees and stuff too. So I don't think the turn radius is the answer. I think it handicaps the Rex a little bit too much. But I think they're going to come out with some biome rules, which I think would be really cool, because the other situation right now is it's kind of a twofold thing, a two-pronged topic, I guess I'm going to have, and that's the addition of the pools in Savannah have made Savannah the new hotspot. Everybody recognizes it. I did have an experience over the weekend, and I talked to somebody else that had the same, where we both went around the map and we did encounter players in like Green Valley and in Green Hills and other places of the map. But it's still a rare occurrence, I would say. It's starting to happen, so I'm hopeful that players are starting to move about the map a little more and spread out, which I think is really cool. And I hope it continues, because the water in Savannah is actually 0% most of the time. It gets drank up by the hepatos and the other herbivores in the area anyway, and so you're forced to go to hot springs or to the Hunter's Thicket Green Pond to get water. And I think as players realize that, they'll start going back to Grand Plains and other areas in the map, Green Valley and stuff, where there's more water. And I think in time that'll help spread people around the map, and we'll start finding people in other areas of the map more. But for right now, it's still a hot spot. Now, the other part of that two-pronged topic is the Rex being forced to stay in the forest. You can play over here in Hunter's Thicket, for example. It's right across the bridge from Savannah, and you can ambush there, but there's only a few ambush spots there. So, and most of the players know about it. So, except for like the occasional new player or a player that's just not paying attention, most players know there's Rexes there waiting to ambush, and so it's easy to avoid. So once again, you get forced to go out to the hot spot. That's where the Rex is going to have to go if it wants to hunt. Or you can go get salt rock or AI carcasses, but that's just not fun. So if you want to hunt, you're going to wind up in savanna at some point because that's just where the players are. And it sucks to walk around for hours and hours and hours around the map and not see anything that you can hunt. And then you go to savanna and there's dozens of things all around that you can hunt. So it's just human nature. It's even animals would do that. The animal, if you look at the Serengeti in Africa, like the lions and all the predators go to the watering hole where all the herbivores are. So it's human nature, and it's just nature in general. That's just what animals do, and that's what the dinosaurs are going to do. That's what players are going to do. We're all going to wind up in wherever the hot spot is, wherever the players are, wherever the water is, and that's just the way that it is right now. So by my point to all that is, by reducing the Rex's turn radius, it puts the Rex at a serious disadvantage, because if you stay in Hunter's Thicket, you run into a Rex every 15 minutes, and even if you're winning your Terries, you're half health or less. So now when you need to hunt, you're at low health because you're always getting into Terries constantly. Or you have to leave the area and you get tarried out of it, and then you're back to savanna anyway. And it's just I just don't think the turn radius is the answer for the Rex. I think a good solution would be to put in some biome restrictions in the rules. I think that would be really cool. That way you can give the Rex back its tools and just force it to stay in the forest, and make the Rex a forest dweller, ambush hunter. But if you're going to do that, I think they need to make sure there's other prey items that also have to stay in the forest, like trikes and possibly Edmonts or para or something that the Rex can actually hunt. Because if you force the Rex to stay in the forest, but all the other dinosaurs are allowed to just avoid the forest, well, that's going to suck for the Rex players. It's not going to be any fun. So hopefully, if they do the biome thing, which I'm hearing rumors that they are, I hope that they make it to where there's other theropods, maybe aloes or dasp, that share, or even a giga, that share the area with a Rex, that share the forest biome with a Rex, and then have some herbivores that would be prey items also have to stay in the forest. If they can do that, I think that would be really cool. They could do different biomes for all different types of dinosaurs, and then that way you can it'll help to spread the players around the map, and it'll also help Rex players not have to go to Savannah all the time, or go to Grand Plains, or keep them in their natural biomes that they're would be make more common sense for them to be hanging out in. So I hope that's coming. Like I said, I've heard some rumors that it is, and I hope that's the case. And then another thing I wanted to touch on real quick in terms of territory contest. There's a rule that says that you can't back up to a water source, a cliff, or a wall, making the front of your character the only accessible part of your character to attack. And that's a good rule, but what a lot of people are doing is they'll be fighting a Rex, and they'll tell the Rex, oh, you have to go fight in the open. And I've seen this a lot lately. And a lot of players are falling for it. A lot of Rex players are like, oh, okay, and then they think they have to go in the open. But that's not what the rule says. It doesn't say you have to fight in the open. It says you can't back up to a water, rock, or cliff. And so in this case, this Rex here, a lot of people in this local chat were telling this Rex that it was rule breaking. But it's actually not. It's not backing up to the water, and it's not backing up to the rock. So because we can go behind it, it's not rule breaking. The front of it is not the only accessible target. You can actually attack it from behind by getting behind it. So if you're a Rex player or another player that's fighting, don't fall for the trick that a lot of these players are trying to tell people, that you have to quote unquote fight in the open. That is not what the rule says. It's just another example of why it's really important to be familiar with the rules and understand what they say and what they mean, and get clarification by using the ticket and general questions, or by using Q&A for staff. Because I see it all too often where there's players that are telling others that they have to do a certain thing that's just not the truth. And it disrupts gameplay, and it is metagaming and kind of cheating in a certain way. Because people are just manipulating others and intimidating them by telling them that they're breaking rules. So if you haven't read the rules yourself and you're relying on what others have told you, you might be tricked by something like that. So I just recommend be very, very familiar with the rules. It's the best way to go. And I've always said, the most common phrase here in Arazoa that you'll see in local chat is "you are beat." And I think about 80% of the time, it's not really even an RB. It's just a player complaining or whining because they're losing or getting a disadvantage in the fight. So we weren't complaining about this Rex at all in this fight here. We were allowing them to stay doing what they were doing, but other players in the chat were. And, a whole argument ensues, you can see, and it's just silly. So, we had a good fight here, though. These Allos, it was a fun fight against the Rex. The Allo is one of my favorite mods right now. I really like it. It's a bit squishy, but it's fast and agile, and it's got a lot of tools in its toolkit, and it's really fun to play with a group of friends on the Allos right now. And I especially like fighting Rexes and some of the bigger, more tougher challenges. And hopefully I'll be bringing some more gameplay for you guys there. But I hope you liked the video. Let me know what you think about the changes, guys, the upcoming possible biome restrictions. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And thanks for watching the video. I hope to see you out there in Gondua. Goodbye.